Scratch it off, wipe away tears. It's me, my friends making appearance. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the Fear List.
The metronome's on. Hello, welcome to the Fear List. I'm your host, Kitty Fenn. I thought I'd do something different and record the intro a little bit. As you can see, time has passed. You're listening to the Fear List. This is a podcast about... What is it about? Great question. Okay, it is about, I literally haven't recorded anything for 2 weeks. I've forgotten what this podcast is about. Anyway, the point is, I interview some of my artist friends who also have anxiety, about anxiety. I'm just starting to realize that I picked the greatest demographic of people to interview about anxiety. There must be some correlation between art and mental health issues. This isn't a joke. I'm sorry. My guest today on the Fear List is none other than Elizabeth E. Schuch, and I am shook to have her on today. She is an indie director. She directed me in one film called The Book of Birdie, which had an LGBTQ plus love, I almost said triangle, but unless it was me, Birdie, and her demons, that's not really a triangle. She's such a sweet person. She was the captain of my ship. I gave her a captain hat on the last day of set. It was my first feature film that I ever did with her, and I was so glad it was a female director, female writer, just a lot of females, and I fucking love females, especially this female. Anyway, she's an indie director, designer, and storyboard artist, and we talk about a lot of great things. Let's just get to the fucking sponsors.
Sponsors, let's hear it from my sponsors. Could you give me money? I just wanna watch it. I don't need much, just a podcast and an Oscar. My only let's hear from my motherfucking sponsors.
Today's episode is sponsored by Anchor.fm, the platform I'm using this. It's so free. It's like the freest of free. You sign up, they give you a podcast, they put it on shit for free. I honestly don't know how this is real. I haven't paid for anything. As an independent artist who's paid for literally everything except when people pay her. This is a phenomenal resource to use, guys. Come on, what are you fucking doing? You're in quarantine. Just start a podcast. Sign up at anchor.ff. Wow. Sign up at anchor.fm. It's phenomenal. Do you want to be on Spotify? Do you want to have your name in the twinkly little lights? Just do it now. You could be famous. Just kidding. Why would you want to be famous when you could literally be anything else? Let that marinate in your steak. Okay, let's have the interview now.
Hello.
Hello. You're sideways.
Why am I sideways?
I don't know.
Why would it only be
There
this
it is.
direction? That's weird.
There we go.
Is that going to mess up your video if it's horizontal, not vertical, or?
Hey, you know me, horizontal, vertical, whatever gets the job done.
Wait, is it sideways now, or is that right?
No, that's right. That's good.
Weird. This phone's weird.
Dude,
Okay.
no, technology is off. I've decided it's supposed to help us, not make us stressed out.
Right. But that's not the case. Actually, I like the technology just because I'm one of those people who's good with like sloppy, painty things. So I always try to
painty things.
Traditional, wet, dirty, real world things.
Oh, yeah.
And so I purposely learned the technology so that, like, I have an edge.
I think you probably would have had an edge before you learned technology. Something tells me Elizabeth in high school was no joke.
Actually.
Oh, no.
I mean, there was the point where I was a ninja for a little while, but beyond that, it was pretty.
You're ever just a ninja for a little while? Is that ever just a casual thing that happens to people?
Just selected appearances. Anyway.
I knew this ninja once. His name was Andrew. That was the story. That was the story.
So where did I see you last? Weren't you asleep on a houseboat in a canal in London last time I saw you?
Yeah, that was a trip, wasn't it? Okay, first off, I had a ton of fun drinking with you in that haunted place.
Right? Oh my God.
All I want to do, Elizabeth, is drink an excessive amount of red wine with you in haunted places.
Honestly, I could spend the rest of my life just drinking red wine with people in haunted places, and it would be a pretty good life. I feel like
I think you'd never
that's a
run
positive
out.
life.
You'd never run out of places. But do you, okay, you and Kostas probably believe in fucking ghosts, right? I mean, we filmed that movie at like a haunted place.
Oh, totally. And that place I've always believed was haunted for sure, since I was like 5. But yeah, I'm very existentialist, so I'm not going to try to explain anything about the universe. I know I'm sort of experiencing something, and beyond that, I wouldn't presume to explain it in any way. So in that realm, ghosts are totally possible. Like, who knows? Totally. Or I'm just like feeling some sort of weird thing, and it's beyond my comprehension. But yeah, it's more fun to believe in ghosts, so I believe in ghosts.
Yeah. Do you have any ghost stories? That little smirk said it all.
I would say the film shoot we had you on was the less haunted of the film shoots.
Oh my God. Oh wait, I think you told me about the when you were filming the winter, right?
Yeah. That we shot our first feature film in Greece with no money and not knowing what the heck we were doing at all. In Kostas' family home, he's from Greece originally, so they still have like a family rotting house in the mountains that's 400 years old and used to be a Turkish prison and was built by black market traders of sorts. So there's like some secret rooms and stuff. Like it's like and we shot there, and it was the most miserable place. I mean, we brought a few people who were psychic to it, and they're just like, oh wow, this place is cursed.
Wow.
Or like, something is here and it's older than the mountain, and it will not die until the generation does. Like,
okay, if we don't get old,
and it used to rearrange the furniture. Honestly, like I had the only key in the village to this house. Like, this is the only key in the whole village. And like, there was a room on the second floor that we used as like the main bedroom, and I'd lock the door at night, and that key went with me to the hotel and sat on my nightstand. And I'm the set designer, so I have to track all the bloody furniture. I need to know where the chair is and the bed and stuff. We come in and we just slightly rearranged in the morning, like just low key. I mean, we were so stressed out, we just didn't care at that point. Like, it just be like, oh, and the furniture's rearranged. Anyway, this is all cursed. But yeah, and when we first went to that house to explore it, and like when we were trying to like write the story for the shoot, we went in and like everything was ankle deep in fur, like little, because it was a fur trading house, and they had been making fur coats in this house for like years and years and years. So we walked into fur, and it's like the last person who was making coats there kind of lost his mind a bit, and later died under mysterious circumstances and lost half the house in the bed. Anyway, so it was like ankle deep in fur, little bits of offcuts as they were working, and like apparently they just hadn't cleaned up after themselves for the last 10 years of themselves working. So there was like yogurt containers and Coke cans and cat poo and like just like the whole thing, like, yeah, anyway, bags and bags of stuff that was just everywhere. And we went up into that bedroom that later had the moving furniture, and you come in, and again, locked, only key in the village was like with his mom in another village, and the window is like up a story. You'd have to like scale a sheer building to get into this room, and there was 2 beds. The mattresses weren't just flipped over, they were exploded. Like a wild beast had gone in there and torn them asunder and like spread all the stuff everywhere, and there was like a sheep's jawbone in the middle of the floor. And anyway, we thought that'd be so fun to make a movie there, so we did.
Do you think that spirits attached to people, like weak bitches?
Not weak bitches. Sometimes they're just attracted to interesting people. I lived with a fascinating person in college that had a poltergeist that followed her from flat to flat. And yeah, I remember we were cleaning out her flat that she was living in before me, and there had been all sorts of weird things, like any girl who stayed in the back room like either quit school or got sick, or there's just a lot of mind losing in this haunted flat in Chicago. And and when we were closing it up, like we were cleaning it out and all that, and the doors would just open and slam.
Why are you
And like,
laughing?
you know
That's
when they click
terrifying.
shut? They click shut because logically you're like, oh, it's the wind, but it's like they clicked shut. Not just they would have had to turn the knob, unclick, and open again. It's not wind. Because you want to logic it, right? You totally, like, I'm sure there was a way that bone got in that room, you know. But there's a logical explanation, I'm sure. Yeah. And apparently she told me later that the poltergeist had gone to our new flat as well. It's just I sense things, but I don't see them, mercifully.
Oh, thank God. No, same. Me too, dude.
I'm really glad, because
So happy.
I also used to lock up Blue Man Group in Chicago when I was about 18, 20. I had a job there, like, as a night, or the house manager. So I'd like lock up the building by myself at the end of the night. And that was a theater that used to be a stable that had a fire. And there was all sorts of ghost stories and stuff. And so it's just like at night, I'm like, I'm not going to see the guy who's in the house. I'm not going to see the guy because there's usually a guy standing in the house people would see, or they'd hear stuff. So,
oh my God.
I could sense the woo of evil.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was
The
like,
woo of evil. Have you ever been on the Chicago Ghost Tour?
no.
Oh my God, Elizabeth, you would love it. Next time you're up here, I'm gonna take you, my treat. Cause, dude, it's so fascinating. Like okay, one of the craziest things I heard was that I think it was the Chicago Theater or the Oriental Theater where there was a big fire, right?
No.
There was always fires back in the day. Two stories involving fires with ghosts really creeps me out. The first one was at that theater where they had really weird fire procedures. So the doors would go in and not out. So you know this story? And that the people flooded. Okay, there was a fire, like Inglourious Bastards fire, I'm imagining, you know? And then they try to go out, but the door's pushing them back, like, no, you gotta go to hell now. And then people ran all the way upstairs, and there's like this opening at the top where they used to transport things, I think. And everyone just like, hundreds of people just fell to the alley, and the people on the bottom didn't make it, but the people at the back did, because they were landing on the dead bodies. And we were standing in that alley, and I was just like, I'm never going to be the same again.
Oh, and that's why theater fire regulations are so tight in Chicago. Like, it's a little bit more lax in other cities I've been to, but Chicago's like really fire safety. It's like, you got a cigarette on stage, someone's standing to the side with like a can of sand just in case. Like, yeah.
Wait,
and for good reason.
Yeah, is sand more effective than water?
Well, I mean, it's just an easy thing to put a butt in, I guess. I mean, I suppose it's butt smothering.
Butt smothering.
Butt smothering.
Honestly.
You know, I of all the topics I thought we'd discussed it, I wasn't sure if butt smothering would come up, but I feel like it came up so naturally that it's okay.
I'm glad, yeah, because I bet you had like a note card of like the topics you want to discuss, and butt smothering was maybe middle ground, like not important.
75% down the list.
75% down the list. But what's at the top? What's the top of the list? Ghosts? Because we've already done it.
Oh, I don't know.
Wait, you gotta check your note card.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay, let's start it out though. So what's your relationship to anxiety, Miss Elizabeth?
Me? Anxiety? Never.
That wicked laugh. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about everything all the time. No. It's all fine. I have a wonderfully chill personality with a lot of worry. So it's great.
That's your answer?
Yeah. What is not anxiety? I don't know.
Have you ever been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, or just something that you know that you live with?
There was a point in high school where I was falling asleep a lot in class, so they sent me to a shrink, and they thought I might be depressed, or I might just need to like leave a small town and go to college. So there was that. Yeah, and I do have polycystic ovaries, so that actually a symptom of that is depression and some anxiety. So if I don't take good care of myself, or just in general, like that can like just you're fine, and then the hormones will go, oh, here's some depression.
Educate
all of a sudden
the public on what polycystic ovaries are.
It's when instead of releasing the egg, like it just kind of like goes like this, and then they build up polyps on the outside of the ovaries, and it can have all sorts of myriad symptoms. Like some people get no periods, some people get extremely heavy, insane periods that never end, and some get like fertility issues, some get like weight gain or acne or hair loss, or like there's a whole range. It's incurable. You can either take a whole bunch of birth control pills, which have some similar symptoms like causing depression and anxiety, or making you gain weight, or giving you acne. So you can take a pill that does the same thing, that fixes it, or you can manage it with like diet and exercise and sleep and avoiding stress.
Well, that's kind of hard in the industry we've decided to stumble upon.
I mean, on the plus side, it has forced me to be more careful with myself. I mean, I don't remember most of my college or early 20s because I was just like not sleeping and doing everything. Like it's like, could I have 20 jobs? I'd have 25. You know, like I don't remember sleeping much, but I also don't remember much about the period. So yeah, it was just all a blur of lots of paint and lots of running around and doing crazy things. But so I've had to learn to like sleep all the hours that I'm supposed to sleep and eat healthier-ish, and yeah, and
like
when I'm bad, I
yeah,
suffer.
It's bad. It's almost
like the next month I'll be like much more sensitive, much more anxiety, much more like easy to shoot down. Like I was one of those kids who was like super sensitive and easy to bully, and I've kind of got a shell now, but that depression and anxiety can push that shell away, and then I'm like, so if I'm not sleeping or not eating well or under stress, like all of a sudden that can come back, so I have to manage it.
Right.
But
it's really interesting that you said that you kind of have a thick skin now, but you were a sensitive kid. And I actually have a question for Paradin in the realm of this. So as an award-winning female director, that's you, a rare species. Do you find that a female's stereotypical softness, or as you say, sensitivity, is an asset to directing, or do you find yourself presenting yourself in a much more like masculine way because it's almost nonchalantly expected?
actually, I've thought about this.
Amazing.
I thought maybe this might come up. Two things. So I started very sensitive kid, like, and super shy, like didn't speak much, and then they put me in some shows when they realized I could sing, and so then I had to like learn to be an extrovert, like, and then it like, remember those high school, oh, this is one of my cats.
Hey.
she's just showing you that she's gorgeous because she knows that.
Where do you live?
So I'm in Toronto.
Can I come?
Not right now because the borders are closed, but as soon as they are open, you are absolutely welcome.
Sorry, change the subject. Back to what you were saying.
Yeah, of course. There was even a period in where I was trying to learn ingenues for shows, so they set some older girls in high school onto me to like guide me to like, you know, wear skirts and stand up straight and speak louder and not move the furniture and paint stuff all the time. And then for college, I went into set design. So it's I basically worked very masculine perfections as a sort of young looking short female. So in those lines of work, I've learned to present in ways that are attached more masculine. Like, I'm not going to show up wearing a fluffy dress my first day on a film shoot if people don't know me, because I would feel insecure that, oh, I don't look like I know what I'm doing. So I try to dress for the appropriate part, but also I'm aware that short female
is that insecurity or is that anxiety?
Is like insecurity probably, and anxiety about that insecurity. I would think, like, I would think they're painted with the same brush. So yeah, so if you want to tell a bunch of big guys in a shop what they're gonna weld, you want to be able to talk, you know.
Yeah. Does your voice get lower?
It can. That does help. Or louder, or more of the Chicago side of my family. It's a little more straightforward accent. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember if I watched a TED Talk, or I read somewhere that if you really do want to be taken seriously, yeah, it was a TED Talk, and he was like a vocal coach. He was like, the lower you go, the more people, and the slower you talk, surprisingly, the more people want to pay attention to you.
Yeah, I can't do slower, but I can do lower.
Absolutely. Do you consider yourself more of a masculine or feminine person?
I've grown. It's weird because having to channel myself in that direction for so many years did take away some of the comfort I had with like just being girly. So I had, you know, short hair and like sometimes very, very short. And so it wasn't until I moved to the UK and started doing more like behind the scenes like animation and film stuff, where it's like I work from home with like stuff. Like I don't have to. I didn't have to present in person as much, so I was able to kind of get more comfortable with the girlier side again, and that's been really fun actually, and learn that that's okay to have that side too. But I think when you ask about sensitive and feminine, I think you've met my partner, who is also very sensitive. Like I feel like it's more of it's good to have that kind of sensitive empathy thing for the thing, and that I feel is not as gendered. It's like empathy is either that kind of sensitivity, and empathy is like you can have that on any part of that spectrum. So
yeah, I can totally see that. Kostas is pretty feminine. I mean,
he's very sensitive too.
Not in
like,
a negative way.
Maybe not visually as much. He's a guy, but like he's very sensitive and kind and empathetic. So like that's his approach to a lot of things. So yeah.
Speaking of Kostas, that beautiful man that you call your husband, you guys, both of your films display some intriguing visual effects, creepy, monster-like images oftentimes. If your anxiety could be in one of those creepy images, what would it look like?
Ooh, that's a fun question. Probably a very scribbly large shadow. Like, you know, when you use like a little tenny, like I find if I'm drawing something that has to do with that, like I would use like a shaky hand scribble, and it would be very, very big. It's sort of a looming thing that consumes around, like either like a monster shadow, and maybe it's got two eyes, like just kind of big old monster shadow with lots of squiggly lines.
Whereas anxiety seems to be kind of like an outward projection, and then depression is more of like an inward projection. If you were going to paint or draw depression, you'd probably put it inside.
Similar, but with an ink wash.
Ink wash.
Well, like take the scribbles and then smear some ink in there, because it feels about the same kind of level of like it's on me.
Right.
If I had to do like a scene where I was trying to like portray the anxiety, that's something I was thinking about for a future character, was dealing with some of like the visual anxiety or the visual insecurity kind of issues. So you'd want to do something where you could see how they see themselves, you know, with the paranoia of it, and like then have it reflect into the world around them, like it all looks normal, but then when you look back again, it's like peeling wallpaper, and like what they see themselves as like is, you know, a bit of a parsnip kind of loaded, you know, kind of demented creature that like is just like really big eyes.
Was it Virginia Woolf or Sylvia Plath that wrote about like yellow wallpaper? You just reminded me of.
Oh, the yellow wallpaper. That is a great. I mean, if it hadn't been already done as a short film, I would love to do that as a short film. But that one where she's like seeing the wallpaper and it starts to move, that actually happens. I mean, if you have a wallpaper or popcorn ceiling, especially, I've been there.
Oh, hell yeah. We've spent our times in motel rooms. We know what the popcorn ceiling's about, and it ain't nothing like that movie theater popcorn. But yeah, I mean, anxiety does paranoia does play a role, depending on like how the beauty of anxiety, if you can even call it that, it is so it's not one size fits all. Everybody's got their own take on it, kind of like a filmmaker, you know. There's never just one filmmaker that makes the same fucking film. There's copycats.
Oh yeah,
there's copycats. Believe me, there's copycats. But it's the same thing with anxiety. Everybody's got their own film playing in their mind, And most of the time it's
Completely.
not an Oscar-winning film. Let's just say that.
Well, and it's like you can give 10 filmmakers the exact same script and get 10 completely different films, you know, because you will, like, even like my day job, storyboarding, you have to visualize the scene for people and draw it out. So you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I've got this guy walking down the street, you put the camera, everything is infinite possibilities. So you can put here, here. And is there right or wrong? Probably not. Could be better or worse, but it's like the infinite of the possibilities can make you go. But I do think one of the best, I had a theory on art and artists that they were just kind of channeling anxiety or OCD in like a really good, they was part of the creation process is channeling those things a little bit. Like you almost have to harness some of that. So if I'm planning something, or you know, it's like why do I keep moving this piece of thing until that looks just right? Like this one time when I was doing an internship in architecture in Berlin, and I had to assist some Russian sculptors set up their things, and I didn't speak Russian, and I just watched the guy move in his boxes like all day. He was just rearranging the sculptures. I just had a lot of time to think, and I was like, yeah, I think I don't really know what he's moving it for anymore. And it's like, it's to satisfy a little internal tick, like an anxiety tick or an OCD tick or something. And like, if we can make that work for us, great. In some cases you can't, in some cases it overwhelms, in some cases it's not productive at all and it just stops everything. But
right, well, as you know, because you're a director, like how anxiety can manifest in the form of perfectionism. And you must deal with a lot. I mean, I don't consider you to have a big ego, but a lot of people as directors tend to steer that direction of having an ego bigger than their dick. But but as a storyboard artist, that must be really challenging to work with those egos all the time, because you're trying to take the writers and the director's notes, and if they don't happen to be good at describing what they want, that can make for some difficulties, right?
No, I see that as like, that's the challenge of the job, is people are going to communicate with you, and you have to take, you know, they might describe 100 shots, or they might not know what they're doing at all, or they might be completely genius and be like, okay, I want this at this degree and this here and this here and this here. I mean, you have to, whatever form of communication is thrown at you, you have to interpret it and get something down. And I definitely, make it perfect, like that's something I was like, that's always been inside me. But you have to draw so quickly, and so much of your work gets discarded. Like you draw 100 frames, that sequence, done. They just decided to shoot in Cuba instead of Russia. So, you know, that sequence is gone, do it again. Like you almost can't get attached. You have to just treat it as like, okay, I'm coming in, I am your drawing therapist for today. What are we going to draw together? And we do some frames. And
that's so interesting.
You don't attach.
Yeah, that's so
and
interesting.
That's helped.
And that helps. But like, imagine being, because I'm thinking about Elizabeth as that sensitive little kid, and I can only imagine that drawing was an escape for you, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah, and making up shows, and like making pretend businesses, and yeah, I was in my head a lot. It was great reading, tons and tons and tons of reading. Yeah, I definitely lost myself in that stuff a lot.
So that's so crazy that flash forward, you know, a few decades, and you're doing
same thing, really.
The same thing, but a less
for the coloring in,
making
up photos.
A detached version of what you were doing to feel normalized.
Yeah, absolutely.
The pursuit of normal is exhausting. I'm over it.
It never really worked out for me, the pursuing normal. I don't remember stopping trying, but it was probably pretty early.
All right, I got one last question for you, my love. If you could, this is the thesis question. You got to have one. If you could truly live fearlessly, what would you do? This
is such a good question. My biggest fear is not living up to my full potential. It's like not afraid of death, not afraid of stuff like that, but not having fulfilled my potential. And that sucks. Like, I just think of that. It's like, oh, I was given things and I didn't do enough with them. Like, I had time. I had stuff, like, I had opportunity with it, not using enough of it. So I guess it would be like, dream bigger and ask for more and put myself out there more and, like, you know, buy a nightclub and be a nightclub singer and just give way less of a fuck.
Oh, girl,
Like,
I was just thinking
so much less of a fuck.
Oh, dude, I was really thinking about this while I was getting ready because I was doing my eyes witchy in honor of you. And I was like, I was just thinking how nice it feels to come into myself and also onto myself. And
Always.
Never on the wall or on a towel, just directly onto myself. But I was thinking about how awesome it is to just grow older, especially as women, because I keep quoting Amy Poehler, but she says it takes years for women to unlearn what they've been taught to feel sorry for. And I always resonate with that, because essentially what that means is you stop giving a fuck about the things that you thought were fuckworthy.
Basically, yeah, absolutely.
What are things that you give a fuck about right now that you shouldn't?
Oh, so many things. I mean, although can I skip that one?
Yes.
I'm trying to hear the spiraling voices and they're not coming.
But no, but that's crazy because we're constantly having a dialogue with ourselves, especially if you're anxious, that often says, oh, if you could change this, you should. But then right when someone puts you in the position to answer that question, it's almost like they shut the fuck up. All the voices in your head shut the fuck up, and you forget why you're so hard on yourself. Because really there is no reason.
Yeah, I mean, the general spiral is, oh, I should be doing more, I should be accomplishing more, I should be drawing better. The constant dialogue is everything I do sucks, and right. I'm some sort of you know, quickly aging, losing all my muscles kind of figure, and like just who would even want me in a room. So you know, I listened to Charlotte's show you did, and like the kind of the spiraling anxiety voices of like self-doubt, those are pretty much all the time. You can only use them to help you, like, I don't know, I guess I should do this tutorial and draw a bit better. Like,
you look so uncomfortable right now. I'm just like, well, no, yeah. Totally. If only we could see ourselves from a loved one's eyes. I mean, I look at you and think, what an accomplished lady. But you look at you and think something entirely different.
Could be better. Always could be better.
Could be better. Maybe that's your
not doing enough.
Not doing enough. I don't know why you're what's that?
It's the spinning. There's the thought spinning.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. It's the constant spinning thoughts.
It's kind of like one of those back in the day in the 1800s where they were just like rolling, like hitting a wheel down a hill. Yeah.
Isn't that like a cheese race in some countries? I think, was it Scotland or just Northern England had like the rolling cheese wheel thing? I think they still do it.
Let's race.
It's got to be like Leicestershire or something, somewhere where it does cheese.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording. Hold on.
All right, guys, that's the show. Thank you so much for watching or listening, whatever medium your 420 blaze up. That's what time it is. Anyway, moving forward. Listen, she forgot to promote herself. It's okay. It's hard. It's hard to talk about yourself sometimes, dude. Anyway, I'm going to do it for you, girl. Don't even sweat it. The Book of Birdie is available on VOD, whatever that means. It's also available on Amazon Prime. She's got this charity going on called the STARLIGHT Filmmaker Prize. I'll link it up. Also, they're about to announce, and when I say they, I mean Melancholy Star, which is her production company with her lovely husband Costas, who directed The Winter and directed me in the Fear of Looking Up. So they are about to announce some new festival partnerships with Black Star Film Fest and Final Girls Film Fest. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, now back to whatever I was saying. Next week I got on another special guest. She's great. She's awesome. She's cute. And the week after that, I'm going to do something different and interview someone completely out of the box. Just kidding, I'm going to interview me. And then we're going to wrap up the season. I've learned a lot, and I can't wait to come back to the Fearless once, the quarantine's over and I can interview people in real time and make this even more special. I've definitely learned how to do this shit right. So going forward, it's going to be awesome. I don't know when that's going to be, but yeah, we're still going to be interviewing people about anxiety. There's like millions of people out there who struggle and millions of people who don't. And I can't wait to have some intimate conversations with them, as well as show you my other creative projects that I've been working on, including music and my first collaboration ever with music and blah, 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 me. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you next time.